My beloved child, before you do anything else today, stop for a moment and listen to my voice. Do not rush to the next task. Do not let another distraction steal this moment from you. I know you have questions that no one has been able to answer. I know there are silent battles you have hidden behind polite smiles. I know about the nights when you lay awake, staring into the darkness, wondering if anyone truly understood the weight you have been carrying. I do. I have always known. Long before you whispered your first prayer, I already knew every tear you would cry. Before your heart was broken, I already had a plan to heal it. Before the world misunderstood you, I had already called you by your true name. So listen carefully, my child. This message is not an accident. You are here because your heart has been searching for peace, even if you could not find the words to explain it. Perhaps you have been asking, Lord, where are you? Have you forgotten me? Why has everything become so heavy? I have heard every question, even the ones you never spoke aloud. There have been moments when you believed my silence meant my absence. But my silence has never meant I stopped working. There are seasons when I move quietly beneath the surface, preparing blessings your eyes cannot yet see. Just because you cannot see the roots growing beneath the ground does not mean the tree is dead. Growth often happens in places hidden from human eyes. That is how I have been working in your life. You have measured your future by today's pain, but I measure your future by my eternal purpose. Do not allow temporary disappointment to become a permanent belief. Your story is not over. The chapter you are living today is not the ending I have written for you, my beloved child. Some of the wounds you carry were never caused by strangers. They came from people you trusted, people whose words mattered, people you believed would never leave. And because of that, you started questioning your own worth. You wondered whether you were enough, whether you had failed, whether something inside you was broken beyond repair. Listen to me carefully. Your value has never been determined by how people treated you. Your worth was established the moment I created you. No rejection can erase what my love has already declared. No betrayal has the authority to rewrite your identity. No lie spoken over your life is stronger than my truth. Remember what my word says. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Those words were not spoken only for generations long ago. They still carry life today. They are reaching your heart at this very moment. Perhaps you have spent too much time trying to convince people to understand you, trying to explain yourself, trying to defend every decision, trying to prove that your heart was genuine. My child, you do not have to spend your entire life asking people to see what only I can fully see. I know your motives, I know your sincerity, I know the kindness you showed when nobody thanked you. I know the sacrifices nobody noticed. Nothing has escaped my eyes, not one act of love, not one silent prayer, not one hidden tear. Everything has been seen, everything has been remembered, and everything will be used for a purpose greater than you can imagine. But before I change your circumstances, I want to strengthen your heart, because if I only changed what is around you, without healing what is within you, the same fear would continue following you wherever you go. I am not simply changing your surroundings. I am transforming you. I am teaching you to find peace that does not depend upon people's opinions, peace that remains even when life feels uncertain, peace that cannot be stolen by disappointment. This is why my son said, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives." John 14:27, "The peace I give is not built upon perfect circumstances. It is built upon my unchanging presence. So breathe. You do not have to carry every burden alone anymore. Lay it before me. Every fear, every unanswered question, every painful memory, every disappointment. I am strong enough to carry what has become too heavy for you. and I will never grow tired of listening to your heart. Now I want to ask you something. If these words feel as though God is speaking directly to your heart today, don't stay silent. Write Amen in the comments as your declaration of faith. And if there is one burden you have been carrying for a long time, share only one word that describes it. It could be healing, peace, hope, family, strength, or freedom. Someone reading your comment may stop for a moment and pray for you today. Never underestimate how God can use your testimony to encourage another soul. Now stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next may completely change the way you have been looking at your current season. Now stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next may completely change the way you have been looking at your current season. My child, you have been calling this season a delay. You have been calling it a loss. You have been calling it silence. But I am calling it something else. I am calling it preparation. You see endings where I am building beginnings. You see rejection where I am actually redirecting you. You see confusion where I am silently protecting you from what you are not yet ready to carry. Not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Some things are mercy in disguise. There are doors I closed that you cried over, not because I stopped loving you, but because I saw what was waiting behind them. You only saw comfort. I saw destruction hidden inside it. You only saw familiarity. I saw delay wrapped in comfort, and so I stepped in, quietly, firmly, lovingly. My child, you may not understand my timing right now, but you will one day look back and say, "Now I see why it had to happen that way." There are prayers you prayed that I did not answer the way you expected, not because I ignored you, but because I refused to give you something that would have broken you later. I don't only answer prayers with yes. Sometimes my greatest love is hidden inside a "not yet." Because you are not just asking for things, you are asking for a future, and I cannot give you a future that your current strength cannot hold. That is why I am building you first, strengthening your mind, softening your fear, breaking the cycles you could not break on your own. You thought I was delaying your breakthrough, but I have been building the version of you that can survive it, because what you are asking for requires a deeper you, a calmer you, a wiser you, a stronger you, and I am not finished with that work yet. But hear me clearly. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being shaped. Even the pressure you feel right now is not meant to crush you. It is meant to form you, just like gold is refined in fire. What I placed you in is refining what I placed inside you. And yes, it burns. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like too much at times. But nothing is wasted, not your tears, not your waiting, not your silent nights, not your unanswered questions. I collect every moment, and I use them all. My child, there is a version of you coming that will not recognize this pain the same way anymore. Because that version of you will carry peace that this current storm cannot destroy. And when that day comes, you will not just understand my plan, you will trust my heart. So I ask you now, will you let me continue the work in you? Even when you cannot see the outcome yet, will you trust me in the middle, not just at the end? Because I am not done. Not with your story, not with your healing, not with your purpose. And what I have prepared for you is still ahead of you, not behind you. And now, my child, listen even more carefully than before, because what I am about to place in your heart is not just comfort. It is truth that will reshape how you see your entire life. You have been asking me for change, but you have been afraid of the process of change. You want the breakthrough, but not the breaking. You want the new beginning, but not the ending of the old you. And that is why you feel stuck. But hear me, nothing new can enter your hands if your hands are still holding what I asked you to release. There are things you keep revisiting in your mind, old memories, old people, old pain, and you call it thinking. But I call it delaying your healing. My child, you are not being punished. You are being separated. There are versions of your life that I had to disconnect you from because they were quietly draining the future I prepared for you. You did not see it at that time, but I saw everything, every hidden intention, every silent betrayal, every door that looked safe but was not. And I stepped in, not to harm you, but to rescue you, even when it hurt, even when you cried, even when you said, "Why God? Why me?" I was still there, still protecting you from outcomes you could not see. My child, there is something you must understand deeply now. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence. Distance is not rejection. I work in layers you cannot see. Sometimes I remove people quietly, so you don't get destroyed loudly later. Sometimes I close paths suddenly, so you don't walk into something that would break your spirit slowly. And sometimes I let you feel the weight, so you stop depending on what was never meant to hold you. Because I am trying to turn your focus back to me. Not to fear, not to people, not to outcomes, but to me, the one who has never left you. My child, you are closer to clarity than you think. That confusion you feel right now is not chaos. It is transition. Something inside you is shifting, even if your eyes cannot see it yet. And I need you to be strong in this moment, because soon things will begin to make sense in a way that will leave you silent. You will look back and say, "So this is what God was doing all along." Yes, that is exactly what it is, and now I want you to heed. And now, my child, this is where everything begins to shift, not outside of you first, but inside of you, because the moment you finally stop fighting what I am doing is the moment your healing begins. You have spent so much time asking, when will this change? But I have been waiting for you to ask a deeper question. God, what are you trying to make me become through this? Because the answer was never just about changing your situation. It was always about changing your spirit. My child, you thought I was silent, but I was actually speaking in ways you were not yet ready to understand. I spoke through closed doors. I spoke through delayed answers. I spoke through broken expectations. I spoke through people walking away, and yes, I even spoke through your pain, because sometimes pain is the only language that finally makes you listen, not because I want you hurt, but because I want you awake. You were holding on to things I was gently trying to remove, and I let you feel the weight of it, until your hands finally opened, not because I forced you, but because you became ready to let go, my child. Look back now. Everything you called loss was actually protection. Everything you called delay was actually alignment. Everything you called failure was actually redirection. And everything you thought was the end was me writing a new beginning. I know it didn't feel like love in the moment, but love is not always soft. Sometimes love is firm. Sometimes love says no. Sometimes love takes things away. So you don't lose yourself completely, and I would rather you cry for a season than lose your soul forever. That is how deeply I love you. Now hear me clearly. The season you are in right now is ending, not slowly, not maybe. It is ending, and what is coming next is not a repeat of your past. It is a completely new path. But you must understand something very important. You cannot carry old fear into new territory. You cannot walk into new blessings with an old mindset. And you cannot recognize new doors if you are still looking at closed ones. So I am asking you now, release it, not just in words, but in your heart, that thing you keep going back to. Release it, that pain you keep replaying. Release it, that person you keep hoping will change your story. Release it, because I am already writing a better one, my child. There is a moment coming in your life where you will feel a peace you cannot explain, not because everything is perfect, but because you will finally understand, I was never alone in this, and in that moment, you will not cry out of pain anymore. You will cry because you finally see the truth that I was with you. In every step, in every breakdown, in every night you thought you wouldn't survive, I was there, holding you, building you, saving you from what you could not see. And now, I want you to walk forward, not with fear, not with doubt, but with trust, because what I have prepared for you is not just restoration, it is elevation. You will not just recover, you will rise. And when you rise, you will not be the same person who started this journey. You will be stronger, calmer, wiser, and unshakable. So, my child, take this message into your heart, not as words, but as truth. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt, and what I am building in you will last. Now go forward, and do not be afraid of what comes next, because I am already there, my child. Now listen to me very carefully, because this is not just the continuation of a message. This is the beginning of your understanding. Everything I have been speaking to you until now was preparation, but now I am going to show you something deeper, not just what I did, but why I did it. You have always thought your life was random pain, random delays, random losses, random silence. But nothing about your life has ever been random, not even one moment. Every detail was carefully known, every tear was counted, every night you broke down in silence was recorded in love, and every time you thought, I cannot go on anymore, I carried you through it without you even realizing. My child, you are standing in a chapter right now that feels confusing only because you're inside it. But from my view, it is already complete. And what you call confusion, I call coordination. I am aligning things you cannot connect yet. I am moving pieces you cannot see yet. And I am preparing answers to prayers you stopped praying. Because you thought I stopped listening, but I never stopped. Not even for a second. You were never delayed. You were protected, my child. There are things you begged me for that I refused to give you at that time, not because you didn't deserve them, but because you were not ready to carry them. You thought I was saying no, but I was actually saying not in this version of you, because I see what you become tomorrow, not just what you are today. And I knew if I gave you certain things too early, they would not bless you, they would break you. So I slowed it down, I redirected it, I closed it, I removed it. And yes, sometimes I even made it hurt, because some lessons do not enter the heart through comfort. They enter through surrender. The things you lost were not yours forever, my child. You keep looking at what left your life as if it was stolen, but I am telling you now, nothing I did not approve can remain in your destiny. Some people were only assigned for a season. Some doors were only meant to teach you discernment. Some connections were only meant to show you truth, and when their purpose was complete, I removed them, not to punish you, but to protect your future from confusion. You may not understand it now, but one day you will say, if they had stayed, I would have lost myself. That is how precise my protection is. You are not falling. You are being built, my child. What you call breakdown, I call rebuilding. What you call emotional exhaustion, I call inner restructuring. What you call confusion, I call transformation in progress, because I am not fixing your life. I am rebuilding your identity. The version of you that depends on validation is being removed. The version of you that fears rejection is being healed. The version of you that overthinks everything is being quieted, and a new version is emerging. One that does not panic in delay, one that does not crumble in silence, one that does not chase what is meant to arrive naturally. You will not recognize yourself after this season, and that is not destruction. That is elevation. The shift you will soon feel, my child. There is a shift coming, not loud, not dramatic at first, but deep. You will wake up one day and realize something inside you has changed. The same things that used to disturb you will no longer shake you. The same thoughts that used to trap you will no longer control you. The same pain that used to define your mood will no longer define your identity. And in that moment, You will not say, I changed myself. You will say, something divine changed me. And you will be right, because that is exactly what I am doing. Why the wait was necessary. My child, waiting was never punishment. Waiting was protection from premature destruction. Because if I opened certain doors earlier, you would have entered without wisdom, and wisdom is what protects blessings. Without wisdom, blessings become burdens. So I taught you patience, even though it hurt, even though you questioned me, even though you thought I forgot you. I was teaching you how to survive what you are about to receive, because what is coming requires a stronger you, a calmer you, a wiser you, and I am still shaping that version. Now I want you to understand this deeply. You are not in a bad phase. You are in a forming phase, and forming always feels uncomfortable because I'm stretching you beyond your current limits. But hear me, nothing I stretch ever breaks. Everything I stretch becomes stronger. So when you feel pressure, it is not destruction, it is expansion. When you feel silence, it is not abandonment, it is preparation. When you feel delay, it is not rejection, it is alignment. And now, a personal word for you, my child. I know you still have questions. I know there are things you still do not understand. I know there are wounds that still feel fresh. But I need you to trust this one truth. I'm not finished, not with your healing, not with your story, not with your future. And what I have written for you has not been cancelled. It has been carefully delayed for perfection. Now I speak to your heart directly. Stop carrying what I already told you to release. Stop reopening what I already closed. Stop questioning what I already secured, because I'm working in your life even when it looks quiet, especially when it looks quiet. And now, before this message ends, I want you to do something simple. Not for me, but for yourself. If this message touched something inside you, then do not stay silent. Write in the comments, I trust the process. And if you are still holding on to something heavy, write just one word: healing, peace, strength, hope, freedom, because your words are not small. They are declarations, and someone reading them may find strength they lost. Final word, my child. I have been with you, I am with you, and I will remain with you, not because your life is perfect, but because my love is constant. So go forward now, not with fear, but with quiet strength, because what is ahead of you is not your past repeating, it is your destiny unfolding, and I am already there. My child, if you are still here, still reading, still feeling something deep inside your heart, then understand this. This was never just a message. This was always a connection between your heart and my presence. And now I want to bring you to the final understanding of everything you have heard, not as confusion anymore, but as clarity. You were never alone, not even in your silence, my child. There were moments you thought you were completely alone. No one understood you. No one stood with you. No one noticed what you were going through. But I did not leave you in those moments, even when you could not feel me. I was closest, even when you could not hear me. I was speaking, even when you thought nothing was happening. I was doing the deepest work, because my presence is not dependent on your feelings. It is constant, unshakable, unchanging. What you called endings were never endings, my child. You keep remembering certain chapters of your life like they were failures, but I am telling you now, they were foundations. Every ending you cried over was me making space for something you prayed for, but you did not recognize it at that time. Because pain always speaks louder than purpose in the beginning, but purpose always wins in the end, always. You were being trained for what you prayed for, my child. You asked me for strength, so I allowed situations that would build it. You asked me for patience, so I placed you in waiting. You asked me for clarity, so I removed distractions. You asked me for love that is real, so I removed what was false. You did not understand it at that time, but I was answering you in ways deeper than words. Was shaping you through experience, not explanation, because understanding comes later, transformation comes first. The breaking was never meant to destroy you, my child. There were moments you felt broken emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but hear me carefully, I do not break my children to destroy them. I break what is weak inside them, so what is strong can rise, because inside you, there was always something stronger than what pain showed you. You just had not discovered it yet, and now you're beginning to see it. Slowly, but surely. You are entering a new internal season, my child. Something is changing inside you. Now, not visible yet, but real. You are no longer reacting the same way. You are no longer believing every fear. You are no longer giving power to every thought. That is not accident, that is growth, and growth is the first sign that your season is changing. What is coming next will feel different, my child. Soon, very soon, you will notice something unusual. Doors will begin to open without force. Peace will begin to return without explanation. Confusion will begin to fade without struggle. And situations that once felt impossible will begin to shift in ways you did not expect, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you are becoming ready for ease. I did not bring you this far to leave you, my child. Hear me with your heart now. I did not bring you through all of this, just to abandon you in the middle. I did not carry you through pain, to leave you in confusion. I did not shape you through silence, to leave you unheard. No, I brought you here for a reason, and that reason is still unfolding. And now, the final truth, my child. Everything you went through was preparation for something you have not yet fully seen. Not punishment, not rejection, not randomness. Preparation. And when you finally step into what I prepared, you will understand why everything had to happen the way it did. And you will not question me anymore. You will trust me. Deeply, completely, quietly. Final word before you go, my child. I'm not asking you to understand everything today. I am asking you to trust that I understand everything already, even what you cannot explain, even what you cannot control, even what you are still healing from. I am there, and I am not leaving. Now, take this with you. If this message gave you even a small sense of peace, then do not ignore it. Hold on to it. Let it settle in your heart. And if you feel led, write in the comments, God is with me. And if you are still healing from something, write one word, recovering, stronger, healing, restoring, because your words are not just comments. They are declarations over your journey, and someone else reading them may find strength again. Closing, my child. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your understanding, and I will meet you again. Not only in messages, but in your life, in your peace, in your strength, in your becoming. I am still here, and I will always be. My child, if you are still here, then something inside you has already changed, not because the world changed, but because you stopped running from what I have been showing you. And now, I want to take you to the final understanding, not of your pain, but of your purpose. This was never about what you lost, my child. For so long you measured your life by what left you, people, opportunities, dreams, timelines, and every time something disappeared, you called it failure. But I am telling you now, you were never losing. You were being separated from what could not carry your destiny forward. Because not everything that feels good is meant to stay, and not everything that leaves is a loss. Some departures are divine protection, even when you don't recognize it, even when it hurts, even when you don't understand it. You were being guided through invisible strength, my child. There were moments when you thought, nothing is happening in my life, but behind the scenes, everything was happening. Doors were being arranged, paths were being corrected, wrong. Timing was being removed, wrong. Connections were being dissolved, and your life was being quietly redirected towards something safer, something greater. Something aligned. You just could not see it yet, because my work is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The breaking was never the end, my child. There were nights you felt emotionally exhausted. You felt like something inside you was collapsing. But hear me clearly. You were not collapsing. You were shedding. Everything that could not survive your next level was falling away from you. Old fear, old attachment, old versions of yourself, because you cannot step into your future while still carrying everything from your past. So, I did not destroy you. I was removing what was not you anymore. You are not who you were, my child. Look at yourself now, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. You are not the same person who started this journey. You think differently now. You feel differently now. You see differently now. That is not coincidence. That is transformation. And transformation is never loud in the beginning. It is quiet, almost invisible, until one day you realize you are no longer the old version of yourself. The pain had a purpose, my child. I want you to understand something deeply now. Nothing you went through was meaningless. Not one tear, not one delay, not one heartbreak. Everything had a purpose. Pain was not your punishment. Pain was your teacher. It showed you what you would never accept again. It shaped your boundaries. It strengthened your wisdom. It made you see clearly what used to confuse you. And yes, it was heavy, but it was never wasted. You were being prepared for peace, my child. You kept asking for peace, but you did not know what peace required. Peace is not just a feeling. It is a state of being. And to reach it, you had to pass through what disturbed you first, because peace is not given to the unchanged heart. It is given to the transformed one, and you are becoming that version now. Slowly, but surely, something is about to shift in your life, my child. Listen carefully now, because this is important. There is a shift approaching in your life, not emotional only, but physical reality too. Things that were stuck will begin to move. Things that were delayed will begin to open. Things that were confusing will begin to make sense, and you will not even know how it started. But you will know who started it, and you will say, "This was not luck. This was not coincidence. This was God." Yes, and you will be right. You will look back and understand, my child. There will come a moment in your future when you will look back at this season, and you will not cry anymore. You will not question anymore. You will not doubt anymore. You will simply understand, and in that understanding, there will be peace, deep peace, the kind of peace that does not need explanation, because clarity removes confusion, and truth removes fear. You were never forgotten, my child. Let this settle inside you now. You were never forgotten, not even for a second. Even in your silence, I was there. Even in your confusion, I was there. Even in your lowest moment, I was there, and I am still here, not as distance, not as absence, but as presence, constant, steady, unchanging. Final truth before the end, my child. Everything I allowed was preparing you for everything I promised, and what I promised you has not changed. Even if your timing changed, even if your expectations changed, even if your emotions changed, my promise did not change, because I do not change. Now I leave you with this, my child. Stop measuring your life by what is missing. Start recognizing what is being built, because something inside you is still forming, and what is forming now will carry you into your next season. Final moment, if this message reached your heart, don't ignore it, let it stay with you. And if you feel it deeply, write in the comments, "I am ready," and if you are still healing, write one word, "becoming." Restored, free, healed, because your words are not small. They are declarations over your journey, and someone reading them may find hope again. Closing word, my child. This was never just a message. This was a reminder. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. And what is coming is greater than what you went through. I am with you, still, always, forever.